get stressed at the banging misses and videos. While I'm with my freak like we up in the freak shows. Hit you with this shit, make you feel it all in your toes. Got all my people in red clothes. Dialing my metaphors when I formulate my flows. If you don't know, you're messing with lyrical player pros like that.
You wanna party with me?
Hey, welcome everybody to the weekly podcast, Walking This Way Impact was podcast originated from the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas metropolitan area. I'm your host, Fermin Jackson Jr. Today's episode is titled Ask Nyomi, featuring Nyomi Banks, a former adult film actress, entrepreneur, author, and podcaster. And we're going to be talking about the whole healing process, starting all over again, learning to love yourself, and all the other great stuff. You know how we do it here on the show. So it's an honor and a privilege to have a celebrity here on the show. So Nyomi, thank you for taking time with your better schedule to be on here. I know you're doing a lot of great work, a lot of great things, pouring back into individual lives, as well as pouring yourself. But having that outcome of embracing you, loving you. So thank you once again for taking time out of your productive schedule to be here on the show tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. To be very honest, I do not do interviews. I don't do interviews, but I interview people. So, but when you hit me up, and I prayed on it for a moment, and I said, okay, yeah, I'll come over here. I'll come over there and see, what's happening. See if I can feel the energy going on over here. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And I came across your platform on IG, of course, and I just love the message you're putting out with the whole loving yourself, which is very important. Because we know in scripture, the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
We so focused on loving the neighbor, but we forget to love ourselves. And they go for a male and a woman. We get so lost in everyone else, but we forget about ourselves. And that's why I love what you're bringing to the forefront. And I know you went from being an actress to now what you're doing today. How did it all originate, making that transition from being a well-known actress in the adult industry to giving back and sewing back into other people's lives?
When I got into the industry, I got in the industry for a reason, and it was because my father was ill, and so I needed to help pay for medical bills and things for my mom back home in Chicago. But once I just remember my prayer every time I went to set or wherever I went at any event, I always told God is that when it's time for me to leave, you will give me a sign and let me know. And sure enough, he did. So once I got that sign to leave, I left. Was it hard leaving? Because it was good money in there. It was good money. I built, quite of a big name. So what I did from there was, why I left, and I'm gonna share this with you, and I think I shared it on another years ago, but me and my baby, we end up having a baby together. So I end up being pregnant, and I was told that I couldn't have any kids after my last child. So I hadn't had a child in 10 years, and I was told that I could never have kids unless I had, some kind of help or whatever. So we never went through any of that. So this was a blessing for me, but also telling me, okay, it's time to remove yourself from that space, and I have something for you. But I didn't know what it was. And then I went through a spiritual awakening. It started where I was in my closet. I was on bed rest the whole entire time for my pregnancy. Like I couldn't do anything. I was on a bed rest that whole entire time. And so when you're sitting still, you hear a lot of things. You hear a lot of things. You feel a lot of things, all of those things. And I remember creating my prayer closet is what I call it. And within my prayer closet, I wrote a list of people who I needed to forgive, and a list of people who I wanted forgiveness from. And I wrote a letter to each one of them. And what I did from there is that I called a lot of the people that was from my family to apologize, not apologize for me entering into the adult industry, but apologizing for not being who I am. And meaning that because I chose the career that I chose, I still was me. That didn't stop me from being who I was, but I changed for who I was and how I reacted to them by thinking that they thought of me a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So for that was me having a lack of love for myself and not believing in me. So fast forward, I went and got baptized all over again. Like when I say I went through a whole spiritual journey, I went through a whole spiritual journey. I went and got baptized all over again. Um, I did a lot of soul searching, and more it was more of a healing from myself, healing from a lot of things that we've been taught as children, a lot of
Yeah.
things that that some of these things that we've been taught is like, you got to think about some of the things, but also is when you become an adult, when everyone becomes an adult, we tend to be, we tend to already have a sense of who we are, but it doesn't come from us. The sense of who we are comes from others. It either comes from our parents, a loved one, somebody of a higher standard, or even your peers to tell you they think you are, and we kind of go from that. So we don't really know who we are because we always going by what somebody else say who we are. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah, that makes sense.
from there, from there, we really don't know who we are. So in that process of me going through having my baby, going through that whole spiritual awakening within the last 10 to 12 years, I got to find out who I really was. I meditate every morning. I stay prayerful. I've done the work, I did the courses. Um, and it's all about loving yourself. We cannot do anything for anybody else. You cannot love somebody else or even ask for love for somebody else when you don't even know what kind of love that you want. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
what was given to us is what was told to us. We don't know. It's like we want to know something, but we don't know because they're teaching us something that they don't know. So it's like a domino effect. So at some point in time, we gotta like, okay, stop. Because wait, all right, that's what they say. Now I have to figure out who I am. I got to figure out who I am, like you have to figure out who you are. And then this is another thing. And I might ruffle a lot of feathers right here when I say this. But especially when it comes to church, we've been taught that God lives without of us. God is within us. God is
Right.
within us. And we cannot have faith in God if we don't have faith in ourselves. And so when you
That's
start to
true.
do that and you start to go into yourself and when you truly living for God and what he stands for, there is no judgment on anyone. You understand what I'm saying? There is no judgment. So me as an ex porn star or whatever you want to call it, I should be able to walk into any place and be looked at as one of God's children, regardless to what it is that I chose to do in my life. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So this is where things are lost. We lost the spiritual aspect of who God is. And when the self-love, the intimate relationship with yourself, that is connecting you back with the God that's within you because we all have God in us. It's just about tapping into it and being truthful in who you are. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm all about.
And that's a beautiful thing, Naomi, as well, for just to be able to embrace who you are. And it's an ongoing process. It's
Yeah.
the growth to involve. And before I got on today's show, I was looking up the meaning of healing, and this is what I got when I was looking at it. It says the process of making or becoming sound or in health. So we know healing is a making, it's a process, and also it's a making. So we know that it's not an overnight sensation. We know that it's a process. And a lot of time individuals get very discouraged when they want that, if it makes sense, want that instant gratification, knowing it's an ongoing process to be made whole, to be refreshed. It takes everything takes time to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So let me say this. This is what I say. We are forever healing. And the reason why I say we are forever healing. So if you think about this, I'm 51 years old. I'm 51 years old. I began
Mm.
to go through my healing process when I was 41 years old. When I was 40 years, excuse me, when I was 40 years old, I started to go through my healing process, the beginning of it. But when I start actively going through it, it probably was about 6, 7 years ago. So mind you, this is 6, 7 years I'm talking about versus 43 years of what I've been doing majority of my life. So the thing is that even though we are going through this healing process, there's going to be some old stuff that's going to come up.
Right,
The thing
right.
is now that you have to learn the tools to recognize what they are. Recognize what are your triggers. Those are some things that I talk about in my podcast. I have two. My podcast, The Season of Self-Love, which I do Monday through Friday, and that's all about self-love. I talk about different tools about how to recognize those triggers, and what kind of strategies and tips that we can do. We talk a lot about mindfulness. We talk about a lot about meditation and just being in the moment. Is one thing that I learned and I found out is that a lot of times what comes with my anxiety is because I don't have control. I think about the past too much and I think about the future, and I don't stay in the now, meaning that I don't stay right here in this, like I'm talking to you and I, and this is all my focus on, instead of focusing on what I'm going to do tomorrow or in the next 15 or 20 minutes
Hmm.
or what happened back then. We always try to figure that out, and it's like, no, you already did that. You already did that. That's coming. So let's stay in the now. Let's stay in the now. So it's another thing that I say I thank you for my yesterdays, and I wait patiently for my tomorrows. But today is going to be my best day ever. And that is what I say every morning when I get up, because I have to, because I am, as I would recall, I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a recovering perfectionist. And so that is a part of my self-awareness. You understand what I'm saying? That's a part of my self-reflection, is understanding all of those things when it comes to, and also to slow down. But also what it allows me to do when I go through all of this, it allows me to surrender to something higher than me. And that is God. That is to where I can have my intimate relationship with him and just sit and listen. Sometimes we move so much that we don't listen, that we do not listen. There be so many times that signs and things and stuff be coming to us, or even block us from going. Honestly, when things were happening with us, I was like, are we supposed to be doing this? So on when we broke, I prayed. I said, God, if this is not for me, if this is not connection, is not supposed to happen, let me know. Let me know. And so when people think, and I get this all the time, porn stars, y'all pray? Yes, we pray. Yes, we believe in God. Well, at least I do. Yes, I don't understand. We got two right in the left foot, two hands right in the left hand. We human just like everybody else.
And that's a beautiful thing, Naomi. It really is. And to really in an era, or I guess they want to say, of transparency. I'm glad now we're starting to address the elephant more in the room now of our fears, trauma, things of that nature. Because back in the day, we wasn't talking about these things, especially when it comes to entering into a relationship with each other. We never talked about a lot of things. We never addressed a lot of things. We went on, oh, she looks good, he looks good. But then we get into these relationships, things get triggered, things come out. Oh, I didn't sign up for this. But I'm glad now that we're starting to have these more open conversations. I understand of the judgment attitude. Where if I tell her what I went through, what I've been through, I dealt with, she's gonna look at me certain, yeah, and all that other stuff. So it's we bring on judgment for ourselves, but now we're learning to break the algorithm, not to walk in fear, not to worry about what everybody think. I know right now the main thing is we worry about what other people think, what they gonna say, how they gonna respond. You said on social media, I gotta put this up. I want so many likes, and you see, well, if they don't like it, then I just get all mad. But stop worrying about what other people think. How can we overcome that? Well, stop worrying what other people think and just be you. Were they gonna accept you or not?
That comes from self-awareness. That's come from self-reflecting on yourself, and that becomes embracing who you are. The all the bad, the ugly, all of that. Like when I when I say this, it's something that I used to say. I used to say, you stand in the mirror butt naked and you look at all your flaws. You look at all of your flaws. And what I do with all of my flaws, I thank all of my flaws. I thank all of my scars, because that showed me that I lived life. That showed me that I have experience. That showed me that I have wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? And what I have also embraced is that I am uniquely weird I am uniquely weird goddess. There is nobody like me. You know what I'm saying? There is nobody like me. And if they don't understand me, that's fine because there are people out there that understand my language. You understand what I'm saying? So in that aspect, you have to love all of you. And that's where that self-love comes from. That's where that self-awareness, that self-reflection, that's where that comes from. And you have to go back and heal yourself. You have to go back and heal that 5 or 6 year old little boy or whatever that moment in time that stopped you and kept you in that moment. Like I have a moment, I have a picture of me at 2 years old. I have it on my mirror and I talk to her all the time. And what I say to her, I tell her, thank you. Thank you for protecting me through all of these years. You understand what I'm saying? But I got it now. So then I go to the next age. I go to the next age, and the next age was 7 years old when my mom them left me. And it wasn't that they left me on purpose. I just had to go stay with my grandmother for a little while to go to school with. But in my 7 year old mind, my parents left me, but they didn't. They lived right down the street. I just couldn't stay with them because my mother wanted me to go to this school, but they lived in another school district. But in my 7 year old mind, I was abandoned. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the trauma in the healing that you have to do is you have to go back to those times where you felt like, damn, like I didn't, oh my God, they made me feel this way. And we feel that way because we're kids and we don't understand what's going on in the grown folks' world. And the thing is, the
Right.
grown folks don't know how to tell us as little kids what is going on to our level to where we can understand. And the thing is, we take that with us throughout our lives, throughout our relationships, whether it'll be with a lover, a friend, a co-worker, or whatever. We take that abandonment. Everybody goes through abandonment.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody goes
most
through some
definitely.
kind of trauma somewhere, somehow. And we take that into each relationship with us, not knowing, wait a minute, hold on. This ain't, wait, let's stop. Let's let's wait, hold on. And there's a book called The Four Agreements. It is an amazing book. When I read that, I read that book at least 3 or 4 times. And it has 4 agreements. I think the first one is use your words impeccably. Words are magic. Words are magic. Words hold value. You understand what I'm saying? And it was a scene in there that he had said that about a woman and her daughter was upsetting her in some kind of way, and she's usually she don't say that, but then her daughter was singing, that's what it was, and she told her, you ain't gonna be no singer, such and such. So she was spewing out, just because of frustration, she was spewing out mean words to this baby, to this child, not knowing that you are damaging that child. You understand what I'm saying? So when we say about using your words impeccably, that means use them wisely. That means use the words that are good, that will move in a positive way. Move in a positive way. The second one is that, and I want to make sure that I get this right. Girl, should I get this right? And the second one is I believe it's not about you. It's not about you. A lot of times when people say things and they react or they say things to say, for instance, somebody's on, I'm just giving you an example, somebody's on my post and they just going
Mhm.
at it, they just saying something. It's not about me. It's really a frustration that they have with themselves, but they just using me as the target to do that with, or something that I did or I said to trigger. That's just like when your
Mhm.
parents, when they frustrated with their husband or somebody at work and they come home and they start yelling at you, it ain't even really about you, but you think it is because that's where it's coming to you at. But no, that's some shit that they got going on with themselves. Excuse me, I don't know if I'm supposed to be cursing
Right.
on here.
No,
but
you good. You good. You
but
good. You good.
but that's some things that they going on with themselves and they don't know how to regulate that within themselves, so they spew it out on somebody else. And when we on the other end, we think it is about us, but it's not. It's not. Usually most of the time it has to do with them and what they feel at that moment, at that time. The next one is number 3 is don't assume. Don't assume. A lot of times we sit and we make a whole story about a situation in our head, and it's not even that. So we become to assume things about what we think people think of us, how we think we're supposed to. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't assume that.
Mhm.
And the last one is this: do your best. No more, no less.
And that's beautiful.
No
I
more,
like
no
how you
less.
put
Yeah.
I like how you put that. And I was going to go into further. I want to do a big shout out to Maria, my good friend Maria. She said, you need to love yourself first before you can love others. Big shout out to her. Big shout out to Nancy. She said, love the transparency. Big shout out to Patricia Law in my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. She said, self love is top priority. So that's what it's all about. The love, the transparency, the realness, the honesty. And I'm going to go biblical for a moment. In the beginning, the Bible said Adam and Eve was naked and unashamed. And I'm knowing we're going through the, they probably look at the physical. We look at it from a spiritual standpoint, being naked and unashamed. These two individuals were naked and unashamed. And it doesn't matter, that's how it should be. We should be naked and unashamed of not hiding anything. When sin came in, they risked themselves up because of fear, whatever. But getting to the point of being unashamed, being naked, being open, being transparency. Because we know, Naomi, this has to take place. And this is an ongoing thing. This is not a one-night thing. And we know people still struggle. They still struggle in their mind. We can say the right thing before people. We can say cliches, but once we leave everybody's presence, it just alone in that mirror, them old habits, that old nature kicks in, those old things, them old habits you mentioned earlier. And it's that battle. It's the battle within ourselves. It's not nobody else. It's that battle within ourselves that we have to overcome. I know scripture says when the son said free is free indeed. But we know it's that mental aspect, that mental capacity, breaking the algorithm. And I'm glad you're on here to talk about that, to help someone. I know a lot of people are being helped in the process of hearing this. Like, wow, we need more of this. We need to hear more of this. We need to have more of this where I want to be free. And we know, Naomi, a lot of individuals wants to be free. What do you want to say about that?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, because you talk with your hands like me. And it's like a wind going on.
Well, how it is how individuals wants to be set free.
Yeah. You said interviews are supposed to set free?
How individuals want to be set free. A lot of individuals who want to be set free, but they don't know where to go. Feeling being trapped in imprisonment. Let me say, I work in law enforcement. I work within the confines of the jail. So I hear a lot of individuals always say, well, you out there in the free world. Okay, but you got to think about it. There's a lot of people that's not incarcerated physically, but they're incarcerated mentally. And mental lockup is the worst thing than physical lockup. What you want to say about that? The being mentally locked up.
I think we all at some point in time in our life have and currently is mentally locked up. That we're mentally locked up, and it's because of the things that were taught to us. It really was. It's the things that were taught to us, and we were not taught to live free. And when we have to be free is free of thought, of free of understanding, and understanding that people have different perspectives, that we all don't have to move the same way to be able to agree upon anything. That's why, excuse me, I'm about to do a nice little plug. Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. That's what I created that for, because you have different people from different backgrounds that come in, and we can understand where everyone is coming from. To have a free mind, for me, is really recognizing who you are. You cannot have no free mind if you don't know who you are. That's one thing. If you don't have the self-love, the self-awareness, the self-affection, the self-respect, for yourself, then you wouldn't be able to do any of those things. You wouldn't be able to be free. That word free is such a powerful word. And it's not, used loosely. Is there anybody that's truly free? No, not really. Do I think that anybody can truly ever be free? I think it will be very challenging. That's just like we will always be healing, because we will always have those moments or triggers that will come up. The difference now is that now I have the tool and the knowledge, and I am aware that these triggers could come up. When they come up, I acknowledge them. I even go through that motion, whether it's a day, 30 minutes or whatever. I give it that motion, and then I go to do my tools to, and then I'm gone. And then I got the next 3, 4, 5 days. That's good. You understand what I'm saying? The thing is, people are looking for perfection. There is no
Right.
perfection. There is no perfection. There is no perfection. And when people say free, and can we be honest? There is truly no free. There's truly no free. But we can be closer to it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It makes sense. And no, before we go any further, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And after the commercial break, we're going to jump right back into our conversation.
First thing is you got to be selfish as hell. You got to be selfish. I don't give a. It's the sacrifice, but without great sacrifice and without great risk, there is no such thing as great reward. Can't have one. That math will never math. And I don't like this word, but I'm going to say it because it's true. You have to be a little maniacal with it. Maniac, right? That word isn't good in a lot of situations, but when you're pursuing your destiny, you have to be selfish. You have to be maniacal. You have to be uncompromising. And you have to move in a way when it comes to those three things, when you function completely in a way where it's an unwavering faith. Like, it don't matter how up that might look. It don't matter how much it feel like it ain't gonna work.
Delusional.
Complete delusion. You gotta believe the delusion because it's only delusional until it works. So is it really delusional? A mother only gonna call it delusion until it don't work for nobody else to see, but for the whole world to see. And then once the world see it, there's nothing delusional about it. Now your delusion becomes, oh, he was a genius. We didn't see it when he saw it. We didn't understand it when he did. We thought this mother was crazy. But he definitely always figured this thing was the thing to do, and he stuck by that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back here on the Walking This Way Impact Voice podcast. I'm your host, Herman Jackson G. Broadcast going again from DFW with my special guest, Nyomi Banks, of course, former actress, entrepreneur, podcaster, book author. Also, you're a life coach as well. Also, did I say that right? Life coach as well. You do a lot of coaching and stuff. So we're back here on the show. So we're talking about self-love. We're talking about healing, development, all that great stuff. And before going further, Naomi, I got Maria says, now it's a reflection of who you are. That's what she said. Mentally like up. That's deep. That's from Patricia Law. Self-love is top already. Also big shout on the YouTube side. It says fact. So a lot of people are responding to this, and I'm glad that we are having this conversation. This is a much needed conversation to have, where we can embrace healing, which is a process, but also relearning all over again from what we was taught from children all the way up to adulthood. It's like the scripture says, when Christ told Nicodemus, we must be born again. I'm not thinking about that, Naomi. It's restarting out over again. Even though he added, well, man entered into the womb a second time, but not, he's talking about from a spiritual standpoint, restarting over again, relearning. Because we had some bad, jacked up information growing up. Which one's
So let me say this first. I can't really hear you. I could just hear a little bit for you, but let me say this for you. I like how you actually use the scriptures in where it makes sense. All right. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times I come from the church. I was on the choir, I was in the usher board, I was on all of those, those things, right? And I just remember, and when I say this, people are for real, I have a love and hate relationship with the Bible. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think sometimes there's some scriptures in there that's very contradictory to me. I'm just going to put it out there. But also I saw my loved ones, that my elders that was older than me, and that we will be there and they will highlight every scripture in the Bible, but would never use those scriptures in their daily lives. It wasn't until after I came out of my healing closet that I went to this church called Real Life Church in Valencia, California. And I remember sitting there, and this pastor named Pastor Rusty, he got up there and he literally told me, through preaching from the Bible, literally told me everything that was going on in my household. Every Sunday that I went. And I was like, wow. So I retired my mom after my dad passed away. I retired my mom and she moved with me and my family. So we're sitting in church. Mind you, she's in the same household as me. So the same message I'm getting, she should be getting the same message, right? So she over there highlighting the scriptures, right? And I said, "Did you get that?" She was like, "Yeah, it didn't resonate with me." What you mean it didn't resonate with you? What you mean this is the very thing that was happening at our household? But then I remember this is something that they've always did. So this is a question that I asked my mom. I said, "Why do you go to church?" And she thought about it for a minute. She said, well, because I want to be saved. I said, well, what makes you saved? And she said, well, the Holy Ghost is being in the church and believing in God. And, so do we have to go to church? Say we believe in God, but we don't go to church. But we have conversations with God, but we don't go to church. Does that mean that we're not saved? That's a question for y'all. Does that mean that we are not saved because we do not go to a building, but we still able to have a relationship with God? Does that mean that we're not saved?
No, because a building don't mean anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you so good now.
All right. Well, building don't mean anything. Yeah. He said, if 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, he shall be in the midst. Yeah. And like you said, that's what individuals forget about. We talked about earlier when came up like conversation within the confines of the congregation. A lot of stuff was going on then. They were bash stuff, but they were doing stuff behind the scenes. And let's take it out. Let's talk about same sex. A lot of people was this and that, but they were doing that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. What you just said, it really does.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of stuff going on, and people had questions, but then you ask these questions, you get fussed at.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know the answer.
No answer. No, it was no answer. And then when I asked her again, and she said, because we were told to go to church. We were told to go to church. That's that's interesting. It's another thing, and I'm gonna put this out there. One more thing.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. When you pray and you ask God for something, do you really pay attention to what He's giving you, or is it what you want from Him? See, this is the thing that we do. We sit and we say, I pray God to show me, and He showed you, but you want to do what you want to do. So why even sit and pray and disrespect that moment in that time? Y'all hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You hear what I'm saying? And that's another thing. I think, be intentional when you do your prayer, and understand that sometimes when you ask for things, God will show you those things. And it might not be the way that you think that they should be, but it's the way that He feels that it should be for you, because probably 99.9% of the time, He has something bigger and better than what you just prayed for.
Right. I agree. Totally. Because go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I want to say, because if you look at individuals now, and I'm not knocking nobody, mm-hmm. When they pray for material things. I'm praying that I get this house. I'm praying that I get this car. I'm praying I get this job. I'm praying that I get increase in my business. That's the only thing they're about. It made me think about when he was talking, it made me think about Solomon. And I got under Solomon's prayer. Mm-hmm. Solomon said, I need wisdom, because you put me over these people. I don't know how to lead these people.
Right.
He asked for what he needed. And God under that. He didn't ask for long life. He didn't ask for rich. He didn't ask for none of this stuff. He asked for what he needed. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we think what we need when we want this other stuff, but we still not ask for what we truly need in order to get over the hurdle. Because it made me think about the book, The Alchemist. by Paulo Coelho, and how we was always talking about I'm looking forward to the future. But namely, we still having these issues, these hang-ups right now. We just gonna preach the same thing in the future. But we was always talking, I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
But if you're still doing these same things now, you're just gonna repeat the same thing in your future. So we're gonna say, I'm just looking forward to the future. But knowing that I believe we are created beings, we do curate, I do believe that. But to the concept of breaking those things, traditions, being, oh, I only did this because my family wanted me to do that, or I'm only doing this because society tells me to do that. And I had a conversation with somebody. We was talking about about dating, and I believe like this, Naomi. Whatever that person decide to do, that's between y'all. You should allow society to dictate how you supposed to date, how you supposed to do this, do that, and they think makes it like it's hard. It's not hard. We allow society to come in and tell us how we're supposed to live when we shouldn't have to tell them what to live. And then when you bring something that's already been there for generations to come, they think it's crazy because they never heard it before. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Well, I'm some that they ain't never heard before. So I do understand what you're saying by that. So I just lost my train of thought. I did. I just lost my train of thought. Let me get a little comfortable here and try to gather my thoughts. All right. So the thing is we know that what society norms is that's what we were brought up and raised within society norms. However you want to, deal with it. The thing is that during our like growing up and learning, certain things, we were taught to go with the flow of things on how things will go. And if you go any different ways of that, you were a part of a cult, or you were going to hell, so many scare tactics, to scare people into believing who they want them to be. You understand what I'm saying? So fear has been a part of our identity all of our lives, for even the time that we were in our mother's womb. We fested in fear from with our mother, in growing up. And so it's been very hard to break those, to break that fear. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Is it challenging? Yes, it is challenging. But as long as you ask God for strength, you ask him for courage, you ask him for tolerance. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you ask him for when you're going through this process, and allow him for you to see, strengthen my intuition, remove the blockage to where I can see, I can hear, I can understand, certain things like that. So I heard you when you said about the praying for the materialistic things, but you're right. Pray for certain things that would strengthen you and make you stronger, so you are able to receive these things that of abundance. Not prosperity, but abundance. And then you be able to appreciate and show gratitude to all of those things. It was something else that you said that I said before, is about we were always taught to, you're right, to go towards the future. But we were never taught to figure this out right here, right now. Stay in this moment right here, right now. Because once we do this right here, right now, then guess what? That future, oh my God, it's going to be so much better. It's going to be so much better. But guess what we still got to learn is that everything that happened to us in the past, there were tools back there. There were learning tools back there. So maybe go back there and figure what happened here. Oh, that's how I got through that. Oh, I can use that right now. And see, we don't think about that. That's some of the stuff that I talk about in the Season of Stuff Love, about that, about taking things in your life. You know what I'm saying? Taking back your past. I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in that word anymore. I don't believe in it. I believe these are choices that I made. Those are the choices that happened, and they were learning tools for me, what I use right now today.
Right.
Just to make today, and then it will work for the future, because now I acknowledge and I understand and I know what they are. I know what they are, and I can sit in it and say, okay, dang, I'm that up. Okay, let me see. How can I make this better? What was that? How was that? Okay, I can do it differently this time. the thing is that everybody think things are perfect. I was just talking to a new good girlfriend. She's a new good girlfriend of mine. We're working on a project. I'll tell you about it in a few months. But she came to visit me today, and we were talking about this. I was talking about me being, I used to run track and play basketball in high school and part of college. And so my thing was, I was a sprinter. So my thing, I had to be number one and I had to be fast. You know what I'm saying? So I was reared to be born into a competitor, jump high, make those baskets, do this. So that's always been my thing. You know how we was always taught to be focused right here.
Right.
I look at life now as a stroll in the park. I no longer run. I be ready to run, but then I have to stop myself. I no longer run and I no longer jump. I take time to walk. And when I'm walking through this park, I'm walking through this park and I'm being observant. I'm using every sense that God has given me to hear, to listen, to inspire, to encourage me. This is something that we miss when we think about being focused like this. Because when we focus like this, we miss a lot of things around us that can truly help us to heal, to understand where we at in this moment, in this time, and to prepare us for our future. We miss it. So taking that stroll through that park is just like life. Walk it. Take your time. Look at everything. Be observant of everything. Don't be fearful of it. Be observant of everything. Try some things that you think that are aligned with you, not with what your friends think or what your mama think or what your daddy think, with you. And that's what we need to start doing what you feel that is best for you. Because the thing is that you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. And you cannot take care of anybody else if you ain't good. Because now we are broken people, creating more broken people with our broken mess.
That's it. And that's what I love. And I'm glad a lot of these things are breaking. I really am. Just like they was always taught, you'll get the goodness in heaven. So we're supposed to suffer here on earth, but we get the good life when you pass away. Which that was wrong thinking. That was wrong.
Heaven on earth. You can create your heaven on earth.
And better fact, and that's what Jesus said, to go build for a moment. He said, let thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. So he wants to bring heaven into earth, into your life, but they was taught that you can't have this, but you'll get it in heaven. And that's that teaching they taught people. So people was scared to better themselves. Well, if I better myself, they don't think I'm the devil. And that was wrong teaching, of course.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody thought, well, I have to go to heaven to get all this good stuff. No, you're not supposed to suffer here. You're not supposed to be hurting here. You're not supposed to be sick. So you going through this jacked up lifestyle, then you're going to get the good one when you pass. Right. That was wrong teaching. But people believe that for so long where they feel like, go ahead now.
Right. I don't know. I feel like we were put on this earth to serve one another. I believe that our true essence of life is supposed to be love and serve one another. And as we continue to grow and get bigger and whatever it is, why not give back? That's enough. A lot of us don't give back. And to be very honest, a lot of us don't even have enough to give back. But it's the littlest thing that count in some kind of way that we can give back in some aspect. You know what I'm saying? We just have to break that. We have to break that I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's like that. I don't want to say me or mine, that I want to have the biggest thing in life, and if I don't, then no. I mean, we can share. We can share in things. We can serve one another. Just like me coming on this podcast with you. It's like I said, I prayed about it first, and I said, yeah, let me go ahead and rock and see what's going on over there, because we have to help each other.
Right.
You understand? No matter how small a platform is, we have to go on and help our brothers and sisters to get. We have to. We can't just keep looking at folks and be like, "Oh, they down." No, help a brother or sister when you know that they doing good. Did you see them out there doing something?
You know what? It's a blessing to have a celebrity on here on the show, because I know your work, and I was like, I never imagined I would interview you on my show, but it's here today. And I'm excited, and it's an honor and a privilege that you came and responded to the message to come on the show. That's a blessing to me to have someone in your stature to come on my show and to have these conversations. And that's truly the best name. That's all I want to say. And I thank you for that as well, for just coming on here, chopping it up, and really helping a lot of individuals. Because it's not about me. It's all about if somebody get this message and it does something for them.
Yes.
Enough said. You mentioned about serving, because we know it's all about serving each other. Should want to serve each other, or not to manipulate, or what is in it for me, or, and I know me. I always been that type to have my own, which I still do this day. Cause I don't want to ask nobody for anything. When I say that, because I know individuals will hold it against you, and I don't want that over me. So that's why I work the way I work. So I don't have to ask nobody for anything. That's just me. But I don't mind helping people. I would help people. I was so backing the people. But I never want nobody to hold that against me. Do you want to say something about that? If I'm wrong for thinking like that, help me out.
I'm not gonna say that you wrong, but I'm gonna say, brother, you got to first of all, you gotta relax. And when you want to sit back and you gotta relax, because working this hard, we shouldn't be doing it. So you got to be open to receive. A lot of times when you are not open to receive, you miss your blessings. You miss your blessings when you are not able to receive. So right now it's the pride and the ego. And ego, I learned this from Goddess Mo in her books, edging God out. And from that, when you think about that, when we go on our ego. That's our ego and our pride, and that's what we go on. But sometimes we got to stop. A lot of times I say, I'm out the driver's seat. I surrender. I allow God to do, whatever work He is, that allow for whatever things that's going to come to me, and it's going to come. It took a long time to do that. It took me a long time. I was reading books and everything to get to that moment. You understand what I'm saying? And now I'm opening up to receiving things. I remember not too long ago, I sat at my altar and I was like, look, y'all, I stop everything. Y'all know what I'm out here trying to do. I need my daddy, whoever up there in heaven. I need you to talk to somebody to come down here to help his daughter out. I was just going through the whole thing. Probably like a few hours later, I got an email from this young man. He actually emailed before we missed. My ego got in the way. He missed my email. I was like, no, he playing. He come out. He's a doctor. He's a therapist. He's been a great addition to the Season of Self Love and part of Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. But I had to remove my ego to be able to receive that, because he could have stopped. He said, no, I had to. Someone just kept telling me, keep tapping her. And he come in and he's doing amazing work from that. So you see, I'm asking for help. So how am I going to ask for help? Remember the prayer that I just told you about? When you're praying and you're asking God for something, and he come and show you something, and you be like, no, I don't want that. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't be praying and asking him for something and then say, well, I got to do this by myself because I don't want nobody holding over my head. Come on now, Mr. Jackson.
Well, hey, I'm just being honest. But you're right about that, though. You're right. Hey, you're right about that. But hey, it's a learning. Because I'll be 42 next month. So I start learning this stuff now compared to my 30s, my 20s, and things of that nature. And I look back on a lot of that stuff. It's like, hey, if I would knew better then than I know now, because a lot of things I would start all over again. I'm thankful for the learning experience. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But just really just thinking, knowing, okay, I could do better. I always could do better. Yeah. When you know better, they say once you know better, you do better.
Yes, when you know better, you do better. But you know what? Also, and I'm gonna say this too, and I apologize because I just heard you say something that I kind of went through that too. Man, if I would have did this then back then, it would have been different. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Everything that you are going through right now, you're supposed to go through. Everything that you are going through right now, you are supposed to go through. Now you are supposed to be paying attention because you know better. You know better when you can take these scriptures and apply them to your daily life. And I mean, I hope you're not just saying this when we on this show right now, but I hope that you're using it in your daily life so you already know. Mm-hmm. Even by you even making the statement about am I wrong? You need some changing to do with that to start receiving from people. And it ain't about asking. It's sometimes to be open up to receive, those things that happen for you, And if it doesn't work out that moment, it's a lesson to be learned in that. That's the thing. Sometimes there are lessons to be learned, and not for you, but for somebody else that can
Right.
speak your language, that you can talk to. So you've created a platform that you able to be a powerful voice, to be able to speak. And if you, as true as I believe that you are, and you share those things, you just don't know who you might hit with those words. Somebody just can be strolling through and be like, "Well, man, hold on, man, that happened to him. Man, that just happened to me." You never know. So allow yourself to receive and go through those things. Don't keep tagging about with when I say tackling and taggling about going
Right.
back what you could have did. That's gonna drive you crazy, and it's gonna block you from what you're doing right now at this moment and what you're gonna be doing in the future.
You're right about that, though. You know what I'm saying? You're really on point. So I appreciate you for saying that, of course. And like I said, that's what it's all about growing. And I'm just somebody told me you're just going through this healing phase. This is not a phase, but going through the healing process of relearning. Yeah, relearning. Because being a struggle for lack of knowledge, but relearning. So I'm relearning as I go.
Yeah.
And staying in my lane as I grow and evolve. I do believe, and I believe in having everything done decent in order, but also growing, having a good time, going through the process of learning to learn who Furman is. That's what I believe in. I can't benefit nobody else. I can't benefit from it first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. So I appreciate you being on here. And like I said, a lot of people being held and well said, and that's what it's all about. So I am learning the process. So we all learning. So I know I'm learning. I'll be the first one to say it.
Process too.
I'll be the first one to say I'm going to learn the process. But I'm glad, man, we are having these type of conversations. These are things that helping each other, and not to feel belittled, not to feel judged or belittling anybody, but helping each other. Because it's some things I'm still always going to be learning.
Yes.
I remember this guy said a long time ago, I'm not a grown man. I mean, this man told his son a long time ago. He said, I'm not a grown man, I'm a growing man. So I'm always growing. I'm not grown yet, but I'm constantly growing. Mm-hmm. And I like when that man said that because he acknowledged where he at. He acknowledged that, hey, I'm going to learn something else. I'm going to go through something else. I'm going to experience something, constantly growing. And we feel about that because people that we get a certain age, they know it all. I don't know it all. There's some things I'm learning right now. You teach me some things right now as you on this show. So it's always going.
Yes. You know, for me, I learn something every day new about myself, and it's so amazing. It truly is amazing, whether it's a good or a bad thing. But I learn I learn every day. It was something that I was talking about the other day about self-respect. About I deserve respect was the affirmation that I had, and I actually did a whole show on it. And I took I use myself as an example by being that down, I can sit here talking about self-love and self-love, just being in a positive mode, just being spiritual and things. And I will have somebody come up in my contact and say, "Oh man, I love you in that scene that you did with such and such and such." And it'd be like, did you just read the room? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, did you just read the room? Or you would have people come on and say, "You don't have no self-respect for yourself. How dare do you do that?" And it was like, how can you judge my self-respect? You don't know what I have going on. I respect myself very much. But what I say is that you don't have any self-respect, because if you did, then you would know that you do not use words in that sort to judge another person. You understand what I'm saying? So if you had self-respect, okay, hold on. I see that lady out there doing, what's going on with her? Something, let me just say, how you doing? Come with words of encouragement, or just say, I just, that's, how, why in a respectful way, but don't say that I don't have self-respect for myself, because I do. I do. You understand what I'm saying? So when you think about that, when you go out there without thinking or being able to look at somebody's life for a different perspective, you don't know what that person is going through. And you don't know how harmful your words can be to a person. So when you go lily like that and you think, where is your self-respect? Where is your discernment for you, for another human being, for another person?
That's it. Because you said something. You said a mouthful. He gave me something to add to my toolbox on what you just said. So I honor that. And a lot of times, Naomi, they miss the whole message of what you're saying. Like you just brought out a comment, well, I mean, you did that such a scene, or you can't finish, but they missed the whole entire mission of what you saying. That you could have been a blessing to them, could have given them breakthrough, but they so caught up in your career that you retired from. They so caught up in that, but missed the whole message of what you saying.
The whole message. But you know what I learned is they wasn't ready for that message at this moment, at this time. They wasn't, you know. They just wasn't. And I had to learn from myself. It's like, girl, this is not about you. Just trigger something in their little souls and their little spirits. And you just got to keep going on what you're doing. So you continue to ask God to keep guiding you. You continue to ask God to keep using you as a vessel, wherever see fit. You continue to, you know, ask him for you to be bold in what you're doing. You know, and that's how I stay. When I say I stay prayed up. My friends, one of them right there. My friends be praying for me every day, and then it be the amazing prayers that they say that they send me and they give me. Like my praying grandmama is gone, but I got a whole bunch of praying circles around me that pray for me as well as I pray for myself and I pray for them. And even this is my prayer always: is I pray for friends, family, fans, and my foes. And my goals, yes. And why I do that is because I understand that it's a lot of broken people out there that don't know how to communicate with others. You know, that's where self-love comes from. Because you can see somebody else in a different perspective, because you can be able to empathize with others, have compassion for others. You understand what I'm saying? When you don't have that self-love, when you don't have that self-awareness, when you don't have that self-respect for yourself, you don't have empathy. You don't know what that is. You don't know how to have compassion for others. You don't know how to look at a different situation from a different perspective to understand someone else's their life is. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I think about when people have done me wrong, I'm like, you know what? That I don't know what they was going through at that moment of time. I don't. So I forgive them. I forgive them. But would I be? No, I'd probably be a little, but I forgive them. I would not blame them on their heart because they didn't know no better. And that's how I guess they didn't know, but I know better. And I know at that point in time, they could have been at the hardest point of their time, and they just didn't know what to do at that moment. And so they lashed out, or they said this, or they did that. You know, sometimes we think of the silliest things to get us out of a situation or to do whatever, but I'm not, and that's me. That's because this is my journey. And I know we kept saying the healing process. No, this is a healing journey. We are forever on this healing journey. It's a healing journey. It's a self-love journey. When I say self-love season is always. Self-love season is always.
It is. And that's what it's all about. You know, the healing process, the journey, the adventure, just fall in love with yourself.
It's amazing, though. I promise you, y'all, it's amazing. I'm telling you, I'll be over here high just off of spirituality. Y'all want some of this high off of spirituality?
and that's what it's all about, really. And I love the transition. You know, you went from that phase to now you entrepreneurship, writing books, podcasting. What else, Naomi, got going on? What's the next thing you got? What's the next journey for you? Because you're doing a lot of great things on this side of reaching people, helping people, sewing back to people. And also, I know you're doing your health journey as well. I've seen videos of you on TikTok of your health journey. So what's next for Nyomi Banks that the world would be capturing?
Oh my God, it's so much. It's so much. Right now, I am currently, I'm working on a podcast, but I got a new one that's coming up pretty soon, within the next few months. I'll be putting out little tidbits there about that one as well. And it's a couple of foundations that I've created that I'm looking to really launch and really do some big things with. And one is called the Papa Lock Foundation. This is a foundation that I've been working on for quite a long time. I started off probably about 15 years ago, and it started off with one of my cousins. He was diagnosed with MS, and so every year during March Madness, I would do what you call the the March Madness pool for the basketball for that. And whoever win the pool, whoever win, I will go out on a dinner date. I would fly to the city, go out on a dinner date, but I would take all of those funds and I will give it to him and his family, whatever
Okay.
that I got. And I did that all the way up into um until the year he passed away. So the year he passed away, that money was actually used to help for his funeral as well. And so once he left and he passed away, I created a foundation for that. It kind of went to the side a little bit because I was just trying to do other things, but I'm bringing it back up. That's called the Papa Lock Foundation. Then there's another foundation called this Our Souls Are Not Lost. And Our Souls Are Not Lost is to the people that are in the sex industry, whether they strippers, porn stars, whatever, through that aspect, or if they've been trafficking through there, and give them a transitional life to go from there to come back into regular life, to where counseling, education and stuff. So those are things that I've been working on for a few years at the ground level for that. And then I got some other projects that I'm working on too. At this moment right now, I'm doing a lot of research on dementia. My mom was just diagnosed with dementia this past December, and so that's another part of my myself, the healing with the food, with that, and becoming healthy, for her, as well as being an example. So if she see me eat some, if I go cook some tofu chili, and I take it down, take it upstairs to it. I say, "Hey, got some tofu chili, mama." She looking at me. I'm like, "Girl, that's good for you. Go ahead and eat that, girl." And so it's finding out ways that we can, kind of do it without. She doesn't want medication, to try to do it without medication. So if we can use
Okay.
healing processes, herbs and stuff like that, I'm down for it, because her mom had it. My grandmother, her mom had it as well. And so my thing is to stop it before it gets to me, or is to get to my daughters, kind of stop it before then. So that's a lot of things that I do. I mean, I have a lot of things going on, and it's amazing that everything is amazing that's what's going on. But that's it. And of course, I'm writing a book right now. I'm writing another
Okay.
book right now that's gonna be good. So I got a lot of stuff going on. I do, but I would definitely be putting it out there. Yeah, I definitely would put it out there. Yeah.
And that's what's up right there. Like I said, I respect the grind, your hustle, work ethic, just putting out great positive vibes and energy in the atmosphere. It's much needed giving back to those that was in the industry, and that's a blessing too. That there are people, male and female, in the industry. There are people, and
Yeah.
not to look down on them and not judge them. And we know people do that, and I know you experience it. I know probably guys. You probably get guys all the time asking you this, asking that. But when you bring in something different, because I think on one of your shows, a guy posed, if you ever go back to the industry and you gave him a straight up answer, and then you told him, if you was a fan of me then, you'll be a fan of me now. You'll love the new me compared to the old you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It is so funny. This is one thing I had said too. I said, I understand. I understand when I introduce myself to a lot of people, especially people that didn't know me from Adam, I introduce myself as Nyomi Banks, and I understand that, and I take the responsibility for that. I take the reason. And so some of them that don't know any better, I give them that grace. I give them that grace that they don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? So I have to learn how I react, because I can't control anyone. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? The only thing I control is my reaction and how I allow it to affect me. And again, that what self-love comes from. That is when you have that intimate relationship with yourself, because they only know what you show them. They don't know anything else. And even if you choose to tell them something different, it's their choice whether they take it or not. That's their choice. But you know who you are. I know who I am. I know who I am, and I live it so loud. And sometimes when you live your life so loud and so bright, people get blinded. They be like, You understand what I'm saying? So, and what I want to thank you. I want to thank you for allowing me to come on your platform, in your space, with my energy, and allow to share with your people over here. You know what I mean? Like, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I do. I appreciate it, and yeah, I'll be listening more often to what you got going on over here. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your name as well. I love the work you're doing because I know I hit you up on IG. And before I go to work, I mean, the show comes on Thursday. I watch before I go to work, and the guests you have on there and the conversations you have on there. That's much needed. And go ahead and plug in for the audience. When can they catch your show? The podcast. Go subscribe to your YouTube channel as well, and also your podcast. So go ahead and share that great information for the listening audience. I know they're going to be following you as well.
All right, sure thing. I'm live every Thursday night for on Naomi's Word YouTube. That's Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. I usually have a lot of amazing guests from all aspects of life. Actually, this Thursday, I have a corazon is what we call them now. But she works at the legal brothel called the Bunny Ranch, the famous Bunny Ranch.
Okay.
She'll be on this week talking with her. A couple of months ago, I had a lady that actually owned a brothel here in Nevada. And
Okay.
I had the author, the Brian Reeves. I've had some other therapists. When I say I have people from all across, I do. And I love that they come and they trust me to come on the platform. Not only do we want to know about their books and their stories and stuff like that, but we also want to know about their lives. We want to make sure that people could connect with them in different kind of ways. What I do understand is that what my platform is for, and I understand what kind of experience that I want to give to people when they come to my platform, when they listen. I want to know that we see you, that we hear you, that we pray that you can be able to resonate with something or a conversation that we're having here. And we're not always serious. We talk about sex too. Look, I talk about sex. Yes, I talk about sex, and all of that other good things over there. But it's really, truly a good time over there. It's a good vibe. And then I have the self-love that I do Monday through Friday. And that's a pre-recorded show, but I upload every morning, Monday through Friday. And I always started off with a great guided breathing meditation. We have some great conversations on there. Sometimes I'm there by myself, but sometimes I have Dr. Will on there with me. He's a health specialist, and he does holistic therapy. Great stuff we have over there as well. And that's Monday through Friday. You can go on the seasonofselflove.com podcast, and you can right there and hear, all of that there. And yeah. That's it. I don't want to say no more, but that's it. Yeah.
But like I said, I know you're gonna keep with the great work. You're doing great work as well, and I just love it. Like I said, that's the purpose of me starting this show. I've been doing this since 2009, and I got introduced to it at the time when Blog Talk Radio was on, and a guy from my hometown introduced me to it. He would talk about stuff on entertainment, things of that nature, but I wanted to do real life conversations. I want to have, and matter of fact, big shout out to Nancy. She could vouch to this. We had to do a show called Beauty and the Beast, and we had people that was in the state Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
And we had people that was in the industry. That was either they was usually a prostitute, film industry, but they would share their stories, Naomi, and it was no judgment at all. We had. I think that was like the highest rated show. That was in 2010. We had like over 100 some people dialed in. But the thing about it, I had guys inbox me on Facebook and said, I'm glad you talked about this because it's something I was dealing with for a very, very long time. That would be the purpose of starting this show for, because I didn't want it, because everybody, when people here walk his way, they think I'm focused more on the Christian community. No.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I'm outside the box with that, because I embrace everybody from every walk of life, because everybody has a story to tell.
Yes.
So I don't focus more on the Christian community. I never did. When I do ministry at home, street ministry, we just go out in the streets and love on people. And I ain't gonna lie, Nam, be honest with you, Nam, and I'm gonna say on the show, the people in the world are more people than real in the church. I'm just gonna be honest. That just,
baby. You spoke. Yes.
They more real out there. And I got Nancy, she can tell you they more real in the world than they are within the four walls.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But that's what's really for the platform, really, is for the people that's out there who are real, who want to share their story. And like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about a lot of stuff. This is something we never really talked about, the trauma. Let's say we may have conversations with guys before, about sex. And people, and that's we are those here. When it comes to sex, people have different fetishes that they like during sex, and we have conversations like this all the time as well. We're starting to talk more about that now, Naomi, where when it comes to the bedroom, people have different fetishes, and that's okay. But you should elaborate with your partner and say, hey, I like this certain way. I like doing this, or I like to use toys or whatever. But it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have something. Go ahead, Naomi.
Yeah, and I guess that was the thing. I started radio back in series for
Okay. Are you?
Yeah, I started back in series and I remember that a lot of people used to call in and they used to ask advice or email me advice on how can I get my wife or my girlfriend to do this, or how can I get this. And I was like, wow, it's a lot of people really wanting to know these things, and that's what started with Ask Naomi. That's what really just
okay
started with Ask Naomi. And so when I was answering the back, and I was doing it on live. So then when Playboy was shut down, when Playboy and series kind of dissolved their whole thing, and I actually created my own radio show called Chocolate Radio, and I had I think about 7 shows on that station there, and we did pretty good with it, and we had with different things on it. But I remember just with the thing is with sex. And I'm about healing spiritually and also healing sexually, and I think they all go hand in hand, because we cannot be on this earth without sex. We are all sexual beings. We all are spiritual beings. It's just
true.
We just need to learn to educate on the attitude, the education, the emotions of what sexuality is, and we have to be able to respect those that have a different kind of sexuality than each other. When it comes to you and your partner in the bedroom, this is where the communication has to happen. This is where the shame has to go away. When shame goes away with education. Shame goes away when you are taught certain things. You go to they got a lot of sex therapists. I'm one. So they go to a lot of different people that you can sit, you and your partner, whether it's a woman or a man, could sit and have those conversations with them to make it more comfortable for you to have those conversations with, because sex has been taught to be so taboo in our community, which it shouldn't. I understand why it has been, because there's a lot of things that happen in these homes that's not supposed to be happening. But if we go through and now we start to educate our children correctly, if we start to educate ourselves as adults, then we can have those conversations in those languages, not only with the children, but also with our partners. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that sometimes we are missing that. And what happened? We go outside of our circle to get something, because you ain't telling her what you want, and she ain't telling you what she want, because she's shamed because somebody told her she ain't supposed to be doing that, or somebody told you ain't supposed to be doing that, or you shouldn't look that for her. You go get that from her because she do it over there. But now these are intimate relationships that you and this person that you guys can grow together in. You can learn these things together in and find out what it is, what does turn me on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's it. And that's going back to knowing yourself. And I realized, and I had a sexologist on the show, big shout out to Twyla here in Dallas, and she teaches on sex. And I realized that when it comes to sexual relationship, you actually have to be very healthy, depending on the food that you eat, all the other stuff. And sex is a huge thing. People think it just, okay, we just come together, have sex, whatever. But the information, like you mentioned, is like mind opening. It's like, wow, I really have to be very healthy. Make sure if you are fingering your partner, your girl, whatever, make sure your nails clean.
Clean, right?
See, that's what we never talked. We never had these kind of conversation before. But hygiene, all this stuff plays a role. And I don't think individuals know that. When she was sharing all this stuff, like, wow, make sure your mouth and stuff is clean. All that stuff plays a role when it comes to sex. And like the fantasy, somebody like, hey, I'm gonna go to the sex store. I remember an individual says she wants to use toys on her man. She likes using stuff on it. And she was very comfortable sharing that kind of stuff, information. But that's okay. That's what we get into. Is you want to enjoy each other. Want to be able to talk about the things. A lot of guys like different things. A lot of girls like different things. But to be there to have these conversations, not be ashamed, not to be embarrassed. But back then, we weren't talking about this stuff, Naomi. Just like when it came to sex, especially me growing up, we didn't start knowing about sex until we start getting the magazines and watching the videos and sneaking around watching the video. Because we never know it. We would never talk about sex. It never came up.
Right.
But we used to have to go on the outside to go learn this stuff, see this stuff, but never talk this stuff in the home.
Right. So let me say this. I'm about to put you out on Front Street. All right. So in the third week of April, what's that? The second week of April. The second week of April, I'm doing this show. I'm doing this show on porn, but actually it's and I'm trying to remember what the topic I have for it, but it's about the right and the wrong of porn. And I would love you to be on the panel for this discussion, because I will be asking questions on how did it help or did it not help you? What was the backfalls of it? And this is piggyback off of the conversation that I had with Brian Reeves. He had for his book, Choose Her Every Day or Leave Her. He had this one chapter where it was talking about him being addicted to porn. And he was just saying, giving all of the reasons of why. And I believe you made a statement on one of the things that we were talking about on maybe some men use it as a blockage, to create between a communication or relationship, being committed to a relationship with another person or another woman or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So as a detachment. So this is something I've created a whole show based on coming from that and seeing what is the good and the bad of this industry of porn, of watching porn, and how does it correlate into your relationship, and how can you use it in a positive way. So I'm giving that invitation out to you now.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. And that's important, because when I said that on your platform in the comment section, they use it as, okay, guys deal with, they say the rejection, the no word. They look at you, Naomi. You're a very beautiful woman. They look at you, but they already judging themselves. Oh, I'm not good enough. She can look at her. She can have any man she want. So they will use that not to approach, but they'll watch your movies, whatever, if I watch your movies, I ain't got to worry about her saying no to me, rejecting me, because I use that as that. And that's what goes on, is being afraid, because I was like that too. And I'm being honest with you, I was like that too. I never felt like I was good enough. I never felt like I was worthy enough. Oh, look at her, she's gorgeous. And that's something that guys go through if they have not been taught the correct way. Right. So when you get to know someone and they realize they are into you just like you're into them, it's like, wow, I had all this judgment going on instead of taking a chance. If she does tell you no, it's okay.
It's okay.
Still move on. And that's what they're afraid of now. They're afraid to hear the word no. Even though they find you attractive, they find you gorgeous, they want to be with you, but in the back of their mind, she's going to tell me no. So instead of me going through all that, I would just use that as a safety net. That makes sense what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to hear the word no, which they passing judgment on you already. And they don't even know what the outcome be, because they never made that first step. And she does say yes. All she says is either yay or nay. And that's what people are afraid of. And they're afraid of the word no.
Yeah. And
I
don't like no either.
I mean, because I know it does something to the ego, but that's going back to the love part, knowing your worth, knowing your value. Mm-hmm. If they tell you no, it's okay. That's their argument right to say that. Right. But don't, and then they get mad. I ain't understand. They get mad. She told me no. Oh, then she's a bitch. She did and that. Just because she told you no. Now she that. You just worse for her. Oh, I want to wife her up. I would marry her. She's a queen. As soon as she said you know.
Did she all kind of hoes? I know.
Yeah. But you just worked for her not too long ago. Now all of a sudden, you know, But it's real. This is stuff that goes on.
It is. It's real. You know, it's actually a situation that just happened. I believe it was last week in New York. It was so twin sisters. They went to a bodega, and a guy was trying to holler at them, and they turned him down. They was like, no. He ended up killing one of the twins. She was 17 years old, a 17-year-old teen girl. Yes. End up stabbing her and her sister. Yes. Ooh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Well,
you good. No, this is my platform. This is my show. I'm the founder of the show. Yeah. If I talk about anything, right?
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, but
I end up doing that to him just because a lot of, and it's so unfortunate that you just can't take the no. You know what I'm saying? And then if you think about it, that no could be a blessing to you because you probably couldn't handle that person anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So rather you don't know what's going, because that woman's pretty or beautiful, or that guy you think he got a lot of money, whatever. Trust and believe it might be some stuff going on there. So if they tell you no, or they say thank you, God, because you just probably blocked me away from something, or block you away from somebody that's truly meant for you. See, that's it. Is a lot of people, they don't look at, and I don't want to say this because it's like everybody's trying to get that pretty girl, and everybody is pretty in their own right. You know what I mean? Instead of looking at that sister that's right there, that been right there with you, but you looking at her over there like, yeah, where every guy want her, but she don't want you. But the one who wants you, you don't want her. And why you don't want her? Because she ain't got no BBL. Why you don't want her? Because she ain't wearing no makeup like that. But then you clown her when you understand what I'm saying? So it's
what it is, Naomi? It's the insecurities. They only want the trophy. I'm talking from the guy with the male perspective, not a man, but the male perspective. Mm-hmm. They want the trophy wife. They want the trophy wife because everybody glosses over her and it makes feel like the man. Oh, I got Beyonce, I got a Megan Thee Stallion. Ooh, I'm the man. They don't do that because they're insecurity. But like you said, they could miss the one who may not be on that level, on that platform, but be to fit them. They don't like it. It's their ego. They gotta have somebody because they want everybody to see, look at me. But what about?
Yeah, I got you.
That's what it's all about. Because I remember back in the day when you had a guy friend, a guy friend, and then the friend, I can hook you up with this girl. What the first thing she said? She has a great personality.
She got
the girl would say, "Well, I got a friend, man. I think y'all look good shit." And the first thing the guy says, "How she look?" Then the girl would say, "She has a great personality." So in his mind, which is wrong, he thinks she's ugly. Oh, when she got a great personality, that means she's ugly. But then you'll want the one who's not good enough for you, who manipulates you, take everything you got. But you want her instead of the one that's going to benefit you. Because they so worried about what everybody think, man.
Right.
I gotta get with the Megan Thee Stallion, the Beyonce's on that level because I want everybody to look at me. Because I remember I listened to the show and this guy, he was dating and like what you like. You want to say that's on you. But it was this guy on the show. He was complaining about how heavy set the girl was. Well, she's a good girl, but complaining about how she looked physically. But he wasn't up to part himself. How can you explain that?
Mirror imaging. He ashamed of who he is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
He don't like him. He don't like himself. So his thing is, because I don't like, I'm gonna put her down and make me look good. Or vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why you listen to these platforms, Naomi. That's what they tell a lot. And I'm saying some women women have different tastes. Some women may not be into muscular guys. They'll tell you guys on social media. You've probably seen this on social media a lot. Well, tell guys, get your money up. In order to get your money up, get your clothes and money, clothes, and status. But what about doing that stuff for yourself? If you work out because you want to be healthy. Don't work. Just say this for now. Let's just say this, Naomi. Let's say if they are working out and she still tells them no. So that means you're gonna start working out because you told you no. That's what people do it for now. I gotta look a certain way to get their attention. Now I learned, Naomi, I learned to do this stuff for me. Learn to do this stuff for first. If I want the body, I'm gonna do it for me because I want to be healthy. If I want the clothes, I'm gonna do it for me.
Yes.
And I learned, and I had a conversation about this also, Naomi. I said I go to the movies all the time by myself sometimes. And then the girl said, "You go to the movies by yourself?" Yeah, I take myself out because I had to learn how to date me. I gotta learn how to be married to me first before I be dating or marrying anybody else. I'm just being honest. It's just me being honest on the show. In front of everybody that's watching this. Ain't no shame in my game because I had to learn how to date me and marry me first.
Yes. I like that. Yes, you do.
Yeah, guys go through it too, Naomi.
That's a part of your self-care. That's a part of your self-love routine right there. That is. Because you have to know who you are. And sometimes we have to show and we have to teach people who we are. We do. I got a whole book of me. Here go my book.
But that's what it is. And hey, I take myself out. If I want nobody to buy for myself. I do these things for myself. So ladies, do everything for you. Everything starts with you. Trust me. Once you become the better man, you'll draw in a better person that's going to be alongside with you. And I believe, Naomi, me personally, I let nature take your scores. That's just me. Because you don't have to go seeking for that. A lot of people, I got to go. Nah, if you're going out, go have a good time. Now, if you meet somebody along the journey, then that's cool. But not, hey, get yourself looking good, go have a good time, go for a walk. Enjoy yourself, love yourself. That's something we would never talk now. We would never talk to love ourselves. We would never talk, I got to go out with somebody. Take yourself out. If somebody don't want to go, you still take yourself out. Still enjoy your life.
Yeah. Treat yourself. Yeah.
You got to. So I know you are a very productive woman. I don't want to hold you up. I appreciate you coming on. You got some stuff you got to do. So one more time, then go ahead and plug your information, and we're about to get off this thing. So I appreciate you. So go ahead and plug in all your information.
All right. Again, you guys can watch me every Thursday live on Nyomi's World YouTube for Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. I have some amazing guests. We talk about love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. I've bridging the gap between them all and teaching the world on sex, love, language, and attitude, as well as you can hear me every morning on the Season of Self-Love podcast. This is where we talk about self-love. We got tools, we got gems. I mean, we talk about everything. I've even been on the couch with Dr. Will. I mean, we've had some really live conversations, live sessions. When I say it's been amazing, Mr. Jackson, they've been some amazing shows with him on there. So it's been very eye-opening. I'm loving this book. I say this is my second book. My first book was my first 50 years. The second book, I'm in my second chapter. I'll be 52 in October. So I'm going into my second chapter of my second book. And this book has been amazing. It has been definitely amazing thus far. So I'm just looking forward to just continue to inspire and encourage others, bring people onto the platform to be able to blossom and shine as much as they can, and just teaching the world just how we're supposed to really be, how we're supposed to serve one another, and we just live in our authentic selves.
Man, that's beautiful. That all sums it up. So I appreciate you, Naomi, again. And like I said, it was an honor that you did respond back to me. And that really means a lot to me as well. So I appreciate you for doing that. And just come on here and take time of your productive schedule to come on here and talk about what you got going on. Have these conversations, have these dialogue to help grow, mature, develop. And that's what it's all about. You helped me a lot tonight as well, just by coming about your words alone. You helped me along a lot of ways. So I appreciate you again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're great. You did this thing. Y'all have a great Tuesday. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. If you're on the West Coast, it's going to be 5 p.m., of course. And make sure y'all follow Naomi on all social media platforms. Great information. I love her work, what she's doing, the transparency, the guests. Because you had Mo Goddess on your platform. She was on my platform, too, a few months back. Awesome woman herself, self-love, and that full embrace. I love y'all queens without doing the fully embrace to help say, if they're doing it, I can do it too.
Exactly.
And we love it. So that's it. So keep up the great work. Like I said, we're about to leave here. So, man, y'all have a great night. And I'll be back here tomorrow night here on Walking This Ways Impact Voice Podcast.
You don't have to be right one
have
time.
a great night,
you don't have
everybody.
to figure
Peace.
it all out in advance. You can be wrong.
You said you love me. Now I know what love is. Ain't nobody stop your love. Stop your love. 'Cause you know me. All my hopes, all my fears. Still you chose me. I'm in love. Now I don't know what you've been told, but all I know is that his love is worth more than gold. See, it took a while for me to understand, but a love like this isn't high demand. You know my flaws, but yet you still love me. Know what love is. Ain't nobody stop your love. Stop your love. 'Cause you know me. All my hopes and all my fears. Still you chose me. I'm in love. I'm in love. You turn your back on him, he's still on your side. Always keep it real with you, and that's no lie. Won't give up the fight. I know I'ma survive. Now I got God on my side. God on my side. I was down and he got me up. On the ground, no faith, I thought I was stuck. Now the devil see us winning and we got him shook. You know it's our season, we gon' run it up. Gotta love my sister and love my brother. Cause in this world, it teaches us we gotta love each other. Really absurd if we can't look beyond each other's colors. We should prefer to show love for one another. We need to come together. Now I know